1333, or you can WhatsApp 08000 321 333. We do like voice notes as well. And, you know, they sort of hold a lot of weight. Voice notes hold a lot of weight when it comes to voting. Also, keep telling me what your yearly wins are. So, Richard, I've laid down the gauntlet there. I'm with you, my friend. If it was over to me, I'd be doing it. But I risk being without one's work. But I'd do it for you, Richard. Do it for you. What has been your yearly win? I'm about to cross over to a very handsome young man from Shropshire. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Is that my intro? Is that my intro?
Nick, welcome to the show, darling. He's a man who needs no intro. You got introduced to this show earlier in the year. You smash it out the park. Nick, introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and what you do, please.
Becky Measures. I'm just a dad. You're the clever clogs around here. I'm just a dad. I do what I can. Travelling around the country in a camper van, inspiring kids to be creative, connecting communities with schools, and sending disco balls to nutcase DJ radio presenters like you, basically.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And that, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly it. But you don't. Oh, sweetheart, listen, you are incredible, right? This man knows how to use social media like an expert. He's fabulous. He inspires kids through the art of disco music, which I think is just incredible anyway. You've done loads of stuff up here. You do it all over the country. It's like you've dedicated your life to making a difference, Nick. And thankfully, you have been rewarded for it. Why have you been rewarded for it? Please tell my dear listener.
Well, I'm honoured to get an honour from an organisation that means so much to me, Becky. I can't stress it enough. I mean, everybody's obviously getting their stuff from King Charles, which is fantastic, and I think that's a brilliant project. But today I was honoured as one of London's top 100 Londoners with BBC Local Radio, which just means so much. It really means so much.
Do you know what the weirdest, it's so deserved. The weirdest thing was yesterday, I was having a bit of a scroll through Twitter and I was seeing like some of the stuff you were doing. I was like, do you know what? This man deserves a recognition. He does deserve someone to say, you know what, Nick, you're always so kind to everybody else and you're always so grateful to everybody else. But actually, it's you that's smashing it out of the park. So well done.
Well, the thing is, Becky, I mean, you've got a hashtag at BBC Local Radio, making a difference. And I don't think you realise sometimes, but you giving people like me a bit of airtime, retweeting something, clicking on a tweet or an Instagram, you give people like me agency. You make it worthwhile for me. And the followers and listeners may not be massive at the moment, but yesterday I put something up. I had 20,000 views yesterday morning. I couldn't believe it.
Babe, it's amazing.
I think the love's there, you know. I mean, a friend of mine, Chris Dyson, who's a Sheffield boy, he was head teacher of a school in Leeds, Parklands Primary, and he just wrote a book this year called A School Built on Love, and he turned a school round with love. When he went into that school 6-7 years ago, they had a padded cell for kids who couldn't behave. A padded cell in a school. There were 170 kids excluded. When he left, he's just moved on to Birmingham this last week. When he left, there were no kids excluded. He's turned that school around with love, Becky. And that's what this is all about. Just people connecting, showing they care and loving each other and just cracking on. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Why do you always nearly make me cry? You're incredible. But you know, you said, you know, when you just said, I mean, I need to speak to this Chris. I need to meet this Chris. Can you introduce us?
I'll tell you what, we'll get Chris on if you want. He'll have a chat with you today.
100%.
It's about me and you together, nearly as bonkers as the two of us put together. I mean, he's a lovely man. But yeah, they call them Steelers, don't they?
Sheffield Steelers.
Sheffield Steelers, yeah. He's got a season ticket down there, so he's down there every other week. And yeah, but there's people like that all over the country, Becky. And it's funny, actually, I went to Eden Project 4 or 5 Christmases ago for a community activist camp, they called it. And basically, the message they gave us all there, you're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And people just need a bit of permission. They need a framework. They need a nudge. They need a bit of adrenaline from somebody like you on the radio in the morning. Oh. But you know, it's all about agency and just caring enough to do something. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's about.
Yeah, I said to you yesterday, like this. Like, the things I'm grateful for so much is, you know, I'm still in this job. Do you know what I mean? I've been doing radio for like 20 years. I know I don't look old enough. I understand this. But I learn all the time and I meet so many amazing people. And it wasn't long ago that it clicked to me that the reason I love this job so much is because I am a voice for you, you know.
Absolutely.
And I get to showcase these extraordinary people every time I do this show. And that is a blooming beautiful position to be in, isn't it not? So thank you for letting me be that voice.
Well, the thing is, you see, I mean, I know the BBC local radio is under a lot of pressure with the government funding, all that sort of stuff, and you can't get involved in those conversations. But, you know, there's a lot of great stuff being done at a community grassroots level with community radio. I do a lot with Portobello Radio here. I've got a connection who runs a community radio station in Berkshire. He's got a disabled wife. The bloke doesn't leave the house, and he's got a little radio station broadcasting to his estate. But there's a massive part for BBC local radio because you have that credibility, you have that brand, you have the professionalism. We can't go from professional all the big BBC and the Sky TV down to total grassroots amateur broadcasting. We need the BBC local radio in the middle. And I'm going to be writing to Michelle Donnellan today because I did a petition at the end of this year to save the sea monster in Norway in Western-super-Mare. But I'm going to send her that petition today. But I'm going to put a good word in for what BBC local radio does because it can't be costing a lot. You're not a political threat to the government. And I think what you do is absolutely priceless in this country. You know, it really is important. So don't you give up, will you? You're going to wear that jingle out, you are, girl.
I know. Tell me about it. Wow. Do you know when you don't have to say anything and you just let somebody else say it? And I tell you what, mate, I said this from the beginning, and you know, like not to get into it or whatever, but you're going to be pulling me out with my arms and legs attached. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and not go anywhere because I don't want to be leaving you guys. And you know, when you're so passionate about what you do, and you know, you get the likes of yourself that honour that you know, that makes it even more. Gives it even more strength, mate. So thank you so much. We are
going to pull you out this year because we're going to do two things this year. I'm coming back up in my camper van to Yorkshire because I love it up there. I'm going to do a whole week in school communities across Yorkshire. There's a school in either Doncaster or Rotherham. I always get them mixed up. I work with Kelford School in Rotherham, but I think there's a school called School XP in Doncaster. And they have just had a film made for them by the Edge Foundation. And it's all about how on the first week of the year, that school, they take all the kids on an outward bound trip to teach them those resilient skills, to teach team building, to tell them what school's going to be like. And it's an amazing school. So I want to do some stuff with them. I also want to come to your daughter's school if we can swing that, because I was in you remember that day you got me out of bed when I was in Ballyfield Primary in Sheffield earlier in the year. Do you remember that morning?
Well, I think we need to be careful with how we go with this conversation, Nick. Do you know what I mean? I got you out of bed on the airwaves.
On the airwaves, yeah, technically speaking, yeah. Don't tell your other half, for goodness sake. So basically, I went into that school, we did an assembly, we did rocket workshops, and I want to come and do that in your school.
You can.
What we do firsthand. I want you to see this, because when we bring a community into a school, we blow the roof off, you know, and those kids have a day to remember, and those teachers can build on that in the coming weeks. And Claire Young, who runs a thing called School Speaker, she paid for that day. But we'll have a wit round and we'll come up and see you. And we'll also do some live broadcasting on your, your Saturday virtual Yorkshire tour. Let's get
you do whatever you want to do, Nick. Because the fact that you know it all so well as well is amazing. So Sinead's just literally sat back now, put her feet up. Seriously, that is what she's done now. She's like, yeah.
Next 3 hours sorted.
Oh, to Nick, we're all done. Mate, you are a legend. No, seriously, on a serious note, send me a message. We'll get that sorted with my daughter's school because they would love it. Love it. Let's bring it over to Ches Vegas. Why not? Because they need something like you, and we need the sparkle in our life. Nick, as always, it's a pleasure. Enjoy what your awards today as well. Top 100 people in London. I mean, that's pretty sound, mate. That really.
Well, I've got to tell you, Becky, I blagged my way on the phone by saying to Sinead, I just want to talk about gratitude. So let me just share one with you. I've got an amazing head teacher, Ike, who runs a school down in Sussex. He's got buffaloes. He drives around the school on the quad bike. Amazing guy. And he said to me last year, he said, look, if you play the grateful game, if you're grateful for everything you get, you'll never be disappointed. It's academically proven. If you're grateful, you will be happier. If you're happier, people will attract to you. You won't be sitting around watching the TV all the time. You'll be out and about meeting people. You will get lucky. So gratitude leads to happiness, leads to luck. Get lucky, girlfriend. Here's to 2023.
Yes, boy. This is so it. Preach the gratitude. Preach the love, my darling. You is the best. Oh, you've got the long one now. Breathe it in, sunshine. Breathe it in. It's still going. It's still going. The long applause is there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my fabulous friend Nick Corston. Thank you so much. And here's to 2023. What a legend.